Hello everyone. Today I'm going to show you 3 different methods for factoring trinomials when you have a leading coefficient that is larger than 1. We're going to learn how to do it using slide and divide. We're going to learn how to do it using grouping, and we're going to learn how using trial and error. So I'm going to start with Our first method is going to be slide and divide. There's a process for this. So you're going to take your first leading coefficient and you're going to slide it over to your 5, making a 15. So 3 times 5 will give you 15. When you slide it over, you're kind of removing it for the short term, so I'm just going to suggest that you write it off to the side so you don't forget about it, and you write your 2 binomials, and that you rewrite what you now have. You've slid it over so it no longer is in front of the first term. So now you have x squared plus 8x, and when you slide it over, you have that 15. This will be the trinomial that you are now factoring. So you'll follow your rules for factoring with a leading coefficient of 1. You should already know those rules. Let's review them. So you will look at your factors of 15. They are 1 and 15, and 3 and 5. You want to pick the ones that will end up adding to 8, so 3 and 5. There's only one way to make x squared. You would make it with x and x. And now because both of these are positive, you're going to say x plus 3 and x plus 5. So you might think, I'm done, but if you do a quick multiply back, you'll notice that would not give you 3x squared plus 8x plus 5. You have just factored 1x squared plus 8x plus 15. So your last step is to take that 3 again, and here's where the name helps you out. You slid, and now you're going to divide, hence the name slide and divide. So you'll divide both of your last terms by 3. Now sometimes it's pretty straightforward. It's pretty nice. 3 divided by 3 is 1. So in that case, you would replace this with x plus 1. But sometimes it's going to give you a fraction, decimal, etc. That is not going to work well for us. So that is where you then slide again, and you take that 3 and you slide it in front of your x. So now you have a 3x plus 5. Let's take a moment and let's check and see if this works and gives us back to our 3x squared plus 8x plus 5. You can use your boxes or your foil. I'm going to show it with boxes. I usually show with foil, so I'll take a turn to show with boxes. So I'll have my x and my 1 and my 3x and my 5. So this would be 3x squared. This would be 5x, 3x, and 5. And now I can say 3x squared. Add these 2 together would give me 8x, and then I have my 5. This is what I had at the start, 3x squared plus 8x plus 5. So when it's factored, this is what it turns into. I like slide and divide because it is simply a process. You can really always count on it. Now there's another method, and that method we did slide and divide with 3x plus 5 times x plus 1. Slide and divide, it feels a little bit sorcery-like to me because you do have to remember this, pulling it out at that last step, and kids do forget that a lot. So there are those 3 different methods that you can decide on what you think is the best. Ideally, you'll process all of them, but you might glom onto one or the other. It's called factor by grouping. And this requires that you have a pretty good understanding of greatest common factor, which you need a lot. So the process for this is similar. You're going to take that 3 and you're going to connect it with that 5, and you're still going to get the 15. So off to the side, I'll have my 15. You're still going to consider how you're going to make 15. You can make 15 by doing 1 and 15 or 3 and 5. You're still going to pick the numbers that add up to give you the middle term of 8. Now what you do is a little bit different. Now you're going to take your 3x squared, you keep it, and instead of that 8 written as an 8x, you're going to write it using the 3 and 5. Watch what I mean. You're going to say that my 8x can be written by doing 3x plus 5x. We agree? That's 8x. Now we add our 5. Now the name helps you here too. You're going to factor by grouping. So what does that mean? You're going to have 2 separate groups. Now it just so happens that I've set these up correctly that I have a GCF for my first two terms. Let me show you. And then I have a different GCF for my second two terms. So if I write my first two terms, I hope you see that the GCF would be 3, and there's also an x because this one has x squared and this one has 1x. So I'll take this out and I'll say my GCF would give me my 3x, and what's left is simply an x plus, remember we have a placeholder of 1 because when we multiply back through, we need that to be 3x again. 3x times 1 is 3x. My second group is going to also have a GCF. In this case, my GCF is simply 5. I can take out that 5. So if I take out my 5, I would be left with an x, and remember my placeholder of 1. So I'm almost done. Now I want to notice those groups. I have x plus 1. I should have the same thing here. So as long as I have the same thing, I'm good. So now I look at the numbers in front and I group them together. So this would be 3x plus 5 and then times x plus 1. Now recall, go back, this is the same problem. Okay, now last time I showed you using the boxes. This time I'll show you what it works by doing our double distributing or FOIL. So 3x times x will be 3x squared. 3x times 1 would be plus 3x. 5x would be 5x, 5 times x, and then 5 times 1. I think you can tell right now that that is 3x squared plus 3x plus 5x plus 5 turns into our 3x squared plus 8x plus 5. You're not expected to show this. I'm showing it to you so you can believe me that it turns out to be what we started with. Now our last grouping worked out really well. It is several steps, but it did work for us. Notice I got lucky and I had things in the right order. I might have been confused without it. You know that is the method that I learned when I was going to school. It's largely trial and error. It's a little bit of educated guess and check. I was never shown any fancy methods. So you could imagine that factoring was a little bit stressful back when I was in school, for me at least. So here's my guess and check kind of enhanced. Now the thing to notice here is this is a prime number and this is a prime number. So my options are limited. There's not a lot of ways I can go. If these are not prime numbers, this will take a lot longer. So here we have, and we consider the only way to make 3 is 1 and 3. And the only way to make 5 is 1 and 5. Okay, so we are looking for something that when arranged in combination gives us a multiplication answer of 5 and the addition answer of 8x. An 8. It's very much like when you have a leading coefficient of 1. So you're going to follow the same steps. You're going to say, well, here we go. The only ways to make 3x squared will be 1x times 3x or 3x times 1x. Okay? The only way to make 5 are 1 times 5 or 5 times 1. Now those are slightly different because watch what happens if I put in my 1x and my 3x and then I say I'm going to do 5 and 1 and they're both positive. We know that because everybody's positive here. When you multiply this, you end up with 3x squared for your first term. You end up with plus 1x and you end up with plus 15x. You can suddenly see why if you use this method, you will want to be using pencil because 1x plus 15x is 16x. That is not equal to 8x. So what I would have to do now is reverse my order because like I said, only ways to make 1 and 3 would be either 1x times 3x or 3x times 1x. Same with the 5 and the 1. I can only reverse one of them, otherwise I have the exact same combination that I started with. So I have my eraser and I'm going to say, well, let's reverse the 5 and the 1. Let's make it 1 and 5. So I'll keep my purple and I'll say plus, and I had this as 1 and 5 before, or 5 and 1, and I'm going to change it to 1 and 5. I don't really need to check my first and my last term, so I just need to check my middle terms. So I end up with 3x and 5x, which gives me 8x. So you should notice that is the same answer that we got the other two ways. I'll be honest, I prefer trial and error because I feel so satisfied when I finish, but it does take a long time, especially if you have numbers that are larger. So you will pick your method. You might pick different method based on a different problem, which is why I wanted to show you all three. Here, trial and error is not so bad. I went all the way through high school and never learned a single other method other than this trial and error. So I was okay. It all works out just fine as long as you know one of them.